The stuff that's coming up in couples therapy is not being addressed in the context of the childhood sexual abuse and how that can be impacting so many things that are between them. Our workshop, of course, is for any couple where either of them are survivors of childhood sexual abuse. There's so much shame for male and female survivors of childhood sexual abuse. There's shame and there's guilt and there's silence no matter what. I think it's important to say that most kids do not disclose. So most kids carry this trauma with them through childhood and into adulthood.
So children become, a holder of secret, right? And they learn that staying silent is how to survive, right? Staying silent is how I maintain sense of safety in the world. How that translates later on in adulthood and adulthood relationships, right? This kind of the holder of, like, I'm a holder of secret, and that's my role, and that extends into relationships, right? And impact relationship on every level.
Yeah. And I love the way that you talk about it. Your phrase, which I have taken up too, which is the not telling, and how the not telling becomes a way of life for a lot of people who are survivors of childhood sexual abuse. And it's not just the not telling about the abuse. It's not just about not disclosing about the abuse. Not telling becomes a mechanism which is protective, and it ripples into all kinds of areas of their life.
Well, that's an extension of this role. I'm a holder of secret, right? And it becomes embedded in every aspect of their life. I am not telling about my feeling. I'm not telling about my boundary. I'm not telling about my expectation. I'm not telling about mistake I made. I'm not telling about milk I forgot to buy at the grocery store, right? And
I'm not telling about the discomfort I have during
right.
sex. I'm not just
Yeah,
telling about uh, what happens to me when you touch
right,
me in a certain way. I
right,
am not telling
right.
about, as you said, boundaries, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. And it's not telling becomes a part of identity. And that's trauma's legacy, right? That's the story I will write about you. And this is who you will be to your partner. This is who you will be in a relationship. You will not be authentic, right? And survivors know that. And that's why we have so many survivors who shared with you and me, and we worked with many, right? I am wearing a mask. I am not myself. I cannot be authentic. And my partner cannot be my ally in healing because my partner doesn't even know what happened to me, or knows something happened, but has no idea like how I'm impacted, how I'm flooded during sexual intimacy, how I'm flooded every time I feel vulnerable, or I'm expected to be honest and show up,
Right.
for my
Well, this
relationship.
this brings up a great point, which is my partner doesn't know, and the reason they don't know is because I'm not telling. And part of the reason I'm not telling, this is something that we hear over and over and over again, is if my partner knew this, if my partner knew or could see the real me, okay, that's what we hear often, right? They would leave.
Yeah.
They would
If,
leave.
if they if they knew how broken I am, right? That's the trauma's narrative. If they knew how broken I am, they would leave. And it is the same extension as in childhood, right? We went, you mentioned children don't tell. Children don't tell. When they tell, it's accidental telling. And it's the same story. If I shared that back then, I would be accused. I would be disowned. I would be labeled as you wanted it. You participated in something. You invited something.